And continue our product management theme. It seems to be a theme this week. I don't know what's going on. Let's talk about the holy triad of product management tools. Oh, it just sounds so cool when I say it that way. But we all know in the realm of product management, understanding the intricate relationship between customer journey maps, user empathy maps, and user story maps is crucial for creating a successful product. You need all three. I wanted to talk about each one briefly and talk about what they are, what the differences are, and if you've never used them, how they all work together so that you can get the most out of your product management. So let's start with customer journey map. So a customer journey map visually represents the user's interaction with the product or service over time. And that journey map usually includes personas, the timeline of interactions and how the interactions take place, some type of tracking of customers' emotions or sentiment, key touch points with the product or service, and then different channels of interaction and how people interact with what's going on. Research shows that companies that use good customer journey maps see a 54% greater return on marketing investment compared to those who don't. So that makes it kind of interesting. So you're definitely going to get your ROI when it comes to that. User journey maps started out, if I'm not mistaken, at Pixar. I think Pixar was the first place to really dive in and use those. And what I can tell you is favorable results. It was just off the hook. Lots and lots of good things. And it was exciting to see the charge led there and those things happen. All right, let's talk about empathy maps for a moment. So I feel like in many organizations, they don't take the time to create the empathy maps, or they don't understand what the empathy map should be used for. So empathy in product management involves understanding and sharing the feelings of your users without bias. It's putting yourself in their shoes to comprehend their needs, their pain points, their desires. It's not as easy as it sounds, though. Sometimes you need to understand exactly what the customer sees and thinks and hears and feels. And you have to track that in such a way that it's not showing any kind of bias. And that is just not easy to do. It's challenging because you really have to get yourself in their shoes. But the benefit, studies indicate that companies who focus on empathy outperform their peers by 20% in financial performance alone. The perfect example of this is the Walt Disney Company. They really do have their feet in the shoes of their end customer. They understand exactly what they're going through. They understand their pains. Now, from a financial perspective, they're making money hand over fist, but at the same time, they're trying hard to win back some of those people who may have strayed away during some of the recent things and events that have happened at their company. Let's go to the third one, and in my opinion, what might be the most important one. This one is user story maps. So user story mapping is a visual exercise that helps the product team define the work that will create the most delightful user experience. To focus on impact, it's a lot of behavioral driven design. And this usually includes things like user activities, user tasks, user stories, product backlog items. So this is as a who, I would like to do what, so that why, and mapping it all together. Data shows that teams that use story mapping techniques deliver products up to 50% faster than those using just regular traditional methods. So the initial concept of combining these three elements in some type of single visual representation would be something innovative. You can take and overlay these three, and I've seen it done before, where you overlay the three and you create almost like a grid with a vertical axis, a horizontal axis, but it also has to have like a depth axis. It has to have all three. So it's a 3D model representation. And you can use things like color coding or prioritization or iteration markers, milestones. I've seen this presented in a number of different ways. But what I can tell you is this type of visual journey for leadership, for stakeholders, for product managers, this is a must have. It's something that you need to figure out how to do. And I think that too often we skip all of the initiate, ideate, and discovery phase and jump straight into delivery and wind up with everything being completely data driven, and we're not focused on the impact to the end consumer or the impact to not the end consumer, the impact internally, which I think is important as well. So I think the key here is that if you do this properly, it will allow you to facilitate a cross-functional workshop where people can get the view that they need so that they can see exactly where things rest. It forces you to do regular reviews so that you can maintain and update and make sure the map stays current with the best user feedback and market changes and conditions and things along those lines. And then finally, um, you can start to incorporate analytics and data analytics and feedback and continually refine the map until it gets to exactly where you need it to be. There's just a lot that can be done with this. So it helps you overcome a lot of the challenges you're facing. And if you integrate these three together, you'll get that holistic view of the product and its impact on others, but you'll see how people use it as well, which I think is just incredibly important. So my advice is don't try to bite off more than you can chew. Start off with small changes, those atomic habits, and then make those changes permanent and then evolve into bigger habits so that you can get a hold of story mapping and journey mapping and understand exactly how empathy mapping fits in and really capitalize on these triad of the most holy product management tools. That's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, learn more at AgileDad.com. We would love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care. Bye now.